Hi there, welcome back to Explore Grammar with Zabed. In today's lesson, you'll be learning the rules of changing tense of the reported speech in indirect speech. This is part 3 in the series of narration or speech. In part 1, I discussed about direct and indirect speech. In part 2, I explained the rules of changing pronouns using some formula. Today's video will be a little bit lengthy, but I do promise you'll be able to gather a lot of information from this video. Please watch it till the end. So, without getting any longer, let's get started. Before going to the main topic, let's try to know when do we change the tense of the reported speech. The tenses usually shift or move back in time because time has passed between the moment of speaking and the time of the report. So, we change the finite verbs in indirect speech except some cases. When the reporting verb is in past form, we generally change the tense of the reported speech. In direct speech, if the reporting verb given in past form, how will you change the present tense of the reported speech? I'm going to discuss about it. Here, I'll explain it by using a method which is called SP-ESPA, Pico-Paco, Pipe-Pape, Pipaco-Papeco, or 11223344 method. Let's begin. In the given image, you can see two red colored balloons named as SP and ESPA and below 11. Here, SP stands for simple present tense and ESPA stands for simple past tense. So, what about 11? Are they just put here indicating the number of balloons? No, not at all. Actually, according to the subdivision of present and past tense, the position of simple present and simple past is first. So, 11 here indicates simple present and simple past tense respectively. It means, in reported speech, if we find the verb given in present form, we have to change it in past form in indirect speech. I hope you can easily remember the first rule of changing tense in reported speech by following either SP, ESPA or 11 method. In the screen, you can see two blue colored balloons named as Pico and Paco. Pico means to present continuous tense and Paco means to past continuous tense. Besides, according to the subdivision of present and past tense, the position of continuous tense is second. So, here 2 also indicates present continuous and past continuous tense respectively. For this reason, in the reported speech, if we find present continuous tense, when we change it to indirect speech, we'll follow the structure of past continuous tense. It means if we find am, is, are in the reported speech, at the time of changing it to indirect speech, we'll write was or were. In the image, you can see two green colored balloons named as Pipe and Pape and below 33. Here, Pipe stands for present perfect tense and Pape stands for past perfect tense. According to the subdivision of present and past tense, the position of perfect tense is third. So here 3 even indicates present and past perfect tense respectively. In the reported speech, if the verb given in present perfect tense, it will be changed to past perfect tense in indirect speech. It means if we find have or has in the reported speech, when we will change it to indirect speech, instead of have or has, we will write had. Again, in the fourth image, you can see two yellow colored balloons named as Pipeco and Papeco, and below 44. Here, Pipeco refers present perfect continuous tense and Papeco refers past perfect continuous tense. Moreover, according to the subdivision of present and past tense, the position of perfect continuous tense is fourth. So, here 4 indicates present perfect continuous tense and past perfect continuous tense respectively. It means if we find present perfect continuous tense in reported speech, it will be changed to past perfect continuous tense in indirect speech. I hope you can easily change the any form of present tense in reported speech using SP SPA, Pico Paco, Pipe Pape, Pipeco Papeco, or 11223344 method. If the reported speech given in past form, we even need to change the tense of the reported speech in indirect speech. Here, I'll explain the changes using the image of kite flying. In the screen, you can see the 4 colorful kites as well as the numerical numbers 1, 3, 2, 4. Can you guess what it is? No, am I right? But I think you have listened the song 1, 2, 3, 4, get on the dance floor. So, I'll use this lyric making a little bit changes. That is, instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, I will use here 1, 3, 2, 4 to explain the change of the past tense in reported speech. In the first kite named as ESPA, which stands for simple past, and the third kite named as PAPE stands for past perfect. It means simple past will be changed to past perfect. Again, the name of the second kite is Paco, means past continuous, and the name of the fourth kite is Papeco, means past perfect continuous. It means that in the reported speech, if we find past continuous tense, when we will change it to indirect speech, we will write it in past perfect continuous tense. In the second image of kite flying, the directions are not same as earlier. Here, the order is 3-3 and 4-4. It means that past perfect tense does not change in indirect speech. It remains the same. Similarly, past perfect continuous tense also remains unchanged in indirect speech. I hope by the time you have understood the rules of changing tense of reported speech in indirect speech. Let me make it more clear giving few examples. Look at the following sentence. Shafi said to Mafi, Tausif studies regularly. The verb study is in simple present tense. The indirect speech for this sentence would be Shafi told Mafi that Tausif studied regularly. As you may observe study becomes studied, which is simple past tense. Present continuous tense becomes past continuous tense. A continuous tense indicates the action is going on at the point of speaking. Look at the following example. They said, "We are watching a football match now." The indirect speech for this sentence is, they said that they were watching a football match then. Are watching, which is in present continuous, gets changed into were watching, which is past continuous. Present perfect tense also becomes past perfect. For instance, he said, "I have scored the winning goal." So, note the verb phrase is have scored, which is in present perfect tense. The indirect speech of this would be, he said that he had scored the winning goal. Here, have scored is changed into had scored, which is in past perfect tense. Again, if the tense is present perfect continuous, it becomes past perfect continuous. For example, they said, "The dog has been barking for 2 hours." Indirect speech, the sentence looks like, they said that the dog had been barking for 2 hours. Here the verb has been barking is present perfect continuous tense. Is changed to had been working, which is in past perfect continuous tense. Simple past also becomes past perfect tense. Mahi cried, "I saw a snake." This is an example of statement or an assertive sentence, and the verb is saw, which is in simple past. So, the indirect speech for this sentence would be, Mahi cried that he had seen a snake. Please note the verb saw has been changed to had seen, which is in past perfect tense. If the tense is past continuous, it gets changed to past perfect continuous. So, for example, Rafan said, "Tanisha was reading a storybook." In indirect speech, the sentence looks like, Rafan said that Tanisha had been reading a storybook. The verb was reading is past continuous, gets changed to had been reading, which is in past perfect continuous. The students who are weak in English or who do not understand tense at all, please memorize this chart. However, the word of cautious here, these two tenses remain the same. Past perfect remains past perfect. Past perfect continuous remains past perfect continuous. For example, he said, "I had gone to visit my aunt." In indirect speech, the sentence would look like, he said that he had gone to visit his aunt. Note that here the verb phrase had gone, which is in past perfect, remains the same in indirect speech. Also, when there are two sentences combined with the help of a conjunction and both sentences have got different tenses, then change the tense of both sentences according to the rule. More about this later when we come to exercise practice. While the tense of the verbs usually changes, there are few exceptions that we need to watch out for. We do not change the tense of indirect speech. If the reporting verb is in present tense, or if in direct speech you find say, says, or will say. An example of this is Mr. Hussein says the exam will be next week. Please note, here the reporting verb is says, which is simple present tense. The tense of other verbs in the quotation marks will not be changed either. As the sentence was immediately reported, the quoted information was still true. So the indirect speech of this sentence would look like Mr. Hussein says that the exam will be next week. In the second case, if the words within the quotation marks talk of a universal truth, scientific truth, or habitual action, we don't change the tense of the reported speech in indirect speech. For example, the teacher said, the earth revolves around the sun. Here, the quotation mark contains a universal truth. So we use simple present tense in the indirect speech as well. The tense will remain same. So the indirect speech will look like the teacher said that the earth revolves around the sun. Similarly, Madiha said, I brush my teeth every day. As the sentence contains a habitual action, the tense will remain simple present tense. So according to this, the answer will look like Madiha said that she brushes her teeth every day. Apart from tenses, some modal verbs are also changed in indirect speech to reflect lower possibility. Modals are auxiliary verbs that express necessity or possibility. For instance, will becomes would, can becomes could, may becomes might, must becomes had to. One modal that I would like to highlight is shall. Generally, shall becomes would. However, in reported questions, shall becomes should. As there are always exceptions, modals such as would, could, might, should, ought to, used to remain the same during conversion of speech from direct to indirect. There are a few quick examples to illustrate the change in modal verbs. I'll mention the sentence in direct speech followed by its indirect version. Change in modals has been highlighted in red. He said, I'll be there. He said that he would be there. Will becomes would. His mother said, I shall buy a new shirt. His mother said that she would buy a new shirt. Shall become would, except for questions when shall becomes should. For instance, he asked me, shall I open the box? He asked me if he should open the box. Shall becomes should. Rafa said, I may buy a laptop. Rafa said that she might buy a laptop. May becomes might. Rafi said, I must work hard. Rafi said that he had to work hard. Must becomes had to. Musa said, I can't remember your name. Musa said that he could not remember his name. Can becomes could.
He said, I would buy it if I had money. He said that he would buy it if he had money. Would remains unchanged. The last category to watch out is words indicating time and place. The change in situation at the moment of speaking and at the time of reporting, please do the change in these words. In general, words indicating nearness of time and place are changed into words indicating distance of time and place. The following words and expressions are changed into indirect speech. Now changes to then. Ago changes to before. Thus changes to so. At once changes to at that moment. This changes to that. These changes to those. Here changes to there. Come changes to go. This week changes to that week. Today changes to that day. Tomorrow changes to the next or the following day. Yesterday changes to the previous day or the day before. Last night changes to the previous night or the night before. Next week or next morning changes to the following week or the following morning. That's all for today. Have a nice time. Keep in touch with Explore Grammar with Zabed. In my next video, I'll discuss how to convert an interrogative sentence from direct speech to indirect speech. Thank you for watching the video. If you have any query, please message me in the comment section. If the video really helped you, don't forget to hit the like button. Share the video so others can learn, and do subscribe the channel to get update on the course.